All right, second channel stuff today. Nutter's Garage instead of Nutter Speed Shop. We're working on Lonnie's old car. We've given you guys a walk around. Well, the patrons have seen a walk around of the car. We'll maybe do another one at the end of the video. But let me show you what we're working on today. Grab a light. And that is what is known as a Mopar trunnion bearing. And as you can see, the boot is ripped and the grease has come out. It's in place of a U-joint. Try to give you a little context here. That's the back of the transmission, and that's the parking brake. This is literally a brake drum right here. So we're going to get this drive shaft out of here, and we're going to rebuild this thing. I've never done one before. Have you done one, Lonnie?
Nope. This is brand new to me, but it didn't look that tough.
I don't think it's going to be that bad. We'll get her apart real quick and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, and now that you mention that, the service manual is on the front seat.
Well,
so
we'll have to
get the ladder.
We'll get a step ladder. All right, we'll be back when we get the drive shaft out. So here's your Mopar trunnion bearing. Lonnie's showing you it's got plunge, and then it's free to move that way and that way. So it acts like a U-joint. It'll do anything but twist.
Yep.
So we're gonna blow this thing apart.
Yeah, you're right. No twist.
So the first thing we got to do is get a screwdriver and pick this end cap off.
Yep.
And then there'll be probably a bolt or something that holds the trunnion on.
Okay.
There'll be something.
Is that what we were kind of hammering against when we pulled that apart?
Yeah, we were knocking the trunnion against here. We kind of used it as a slide hammer to pull it off the 4 studs. So we'll blow that apart real quick. Yeah, that's just kind of a dust cap on the end.
Right.
Seals it up against the drum. I believe there's going to be a gasket in there, it looks like.
Yeah, there was one that came in the kit.
Good.
So
we like that.
I'm assuming there's going to be one in there too.
Yep. That's just kind of a gasket retainer. There you go. Pop her off. I know there's a new one in the kit. Oh, no, there isn't a gasket. It's just that.
Oh, interesting.
All right. So I don't see anything on the trunnion. Lonnie, you want to collapse that all the way down?
Oh, yeah. Here she comes.
Yep. So what do we got going? Oh, boy. We got.
Oh, there
goes
all the needles.
Good thing we got the rebuild kit.
Yeah.
So we got plenty. We got more. We got all that. Everything that just fell apart is coming in the kit.
Yep.
Now, how do we get this end off?
You get that.
Or
do we?
Well, how do we get this off to change the boot? That obviously has to come off.
Yes, sir. You are correct.
All right, we're going to do a little research on disassemblage of that particular piece. We'll be back. All right, so we got to get the remains of the old boot out of there. And so it's got this band clamp. No biggie. Band clamps are easy. It's not an Oetiker clamp like we thought it would be, Lonnie.
Yeah, I did think that looked like an Oetiker clamp.
And then we're just going to cut this.
Yeah. And then get a hold of the little one. Now you got to get that band off too.
Yeah. I have to clean the grease up off my table by the end. Well, it almost looks like a guy could reuse these bands. You know, so many people are selling the boot without the band. Did I say that Canadian enough? The boot?
The boot.
A boot?
Yeah, but that refers to something you use for fishing.
A boot? Well, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? That's like a piece of string that was caught in there. Isn't that interesting? All right, so here's what we've learned. There's no way to get this off. It won't slip off. And we'll clean the grease off this a little bit. A guy could press that pin out. By the way, here's one thrust bearing on one side right here. The other one came off with the cap. But Lonnie has consulted the factory service manual, like everybody should do.
And it says we shove the boot over the pin
and then pull it through the other end
Carefully,
carefully.
without ripping it.
Yeah, that's the trick. Is don't rip it.
And we got to make sure we put it on the right way.
Yes.
It seems like it would be easier to put it on backwards. Like this way. Right? Big end first, but that's backwards. So,
All right.
well, everything's still a little bit greasy, so we like that.
That might be helpful, actually. Yep.
And let's get a more. It's a pretty blunt screwdriver.
I don't really want to rip it.
No, we don't want to rip it. That's the whole point. It was already ripped. We already had a ripped boot.
There we go.
All right. So then we just jam it over the pins, which is probably, in reality, jamming it over the pins is probably the easiest part.
I'm thinking it might be.
And then
We have to figure out how to get a hold of it
and pull it through
and pull it through. Yeah.
without turning it inside out.
And then there's that. We don't want to do that either.
So this is going to be less than fun. I can already tell. Okay. All right. Get in there.
Yeah, if you could get it started on both sides, it seems like it would slide in there with all that grease that's still left.
All right, so I got to get through there somehow. So I'm going to clip the end off of this really big zip tie and try to round this. Oof. It's going to be sharp with that. Let me see if I can round it with the scissors. Yeah, the scissors was the call. So now we got two round ends.
Okay.
So one's going to go up the middle this way, and there it is. It's already out. And the other one's going to go around the outside.
Maybe.
And it came out.
Oh, nice.
All right. This is greasy. This is why I'm wearing a black shirt, folks. All right, second zip tie, same as the first.
So you don't think that's going to scrunch that up inside of there and just make it really, really hard to pull through?
Probably, but what are we going to do? We can't pull from the near end or without making a hole in it.
That's
So,
true.
So it's basically this or nothing. They don't give us any hook holes in that boot. All right. Well, that part was pretty good.
Okay.
So now, oh yeah, you gonna pull on that side?
Yep, let me try it.
Coming out over here, or I got grease anyways. Let me pull this thing up.
There she comes. Yep.
Let me spin the trunnion so it lines up. Hey,
look
hey! Oh man, did we ever just make that look easy or what?
You can't do that again, I bet.
That's ridiculous. All right, we'll go back to the table now.
We made that look really easy.
That's just crazy.
All right.
So,
You get a-
this end already slipped on. All we got to do is we can clamp the small end right now.
Yep.
I don't see any reason not to. Let's clean some grease off of this.
Here's the new clamp. Looks like it needs a screw or something here.
I'm going to say that leaving all that grease on there was brilliant.
I think it helped a lot.
Had we cleaned everything with brake cleaner and tried to be super neat on it, that would have been horrible. This is the clip?
Yep, that's the clip, and I think the screw is inside of here, maybe.
Okay.
Yep, there they are, right there.
I wish they hadn't folded it like such.
I know, right?
we'll make it roundish again.
So bend that tab over on top of that nut so it doesn't turn.
Well, this one doesn't have such a.
Why does that clamp seem like it's way too big?
It does seem like it's way too big, but we're not there yet. Maybe it tightens up enough. Otherwise, we'll reuse the old clamp.
That's not going to be enough.
That
Too
clamp
big.
is too big.
All right then.
Good thing we didn't wreck the old clamp.
Yeah.
So we could have done this without, if we were careful, we could have done this with no parts. But we didn't know how long that boot had been blown off, so we wanted to do the whole rebuild kit. So that's why we didn't even care that we knocked all of those off of there. All right, now this is going to be perhaps a bit more of a challenge to get on there and hooked. All right, so the clamp that was too long was easily solved. We just drilled another hole in the clamp and moved it up. And since we don't want that sharp edge flinging around under the car, well, tin snips, cut off wheel, whatever you got to do.
Done.
Still sharp. We might dress that down with a grinder to
Yeah.
make it slightly less dangerous for when we're working under there.
Yep.
So the next thing we got to do is
Get all of that put back together
Which-
with a compressed boot.
yeah, we got to compress the
We're gonna-
shit out of
You
that.
know what? We're going to have to loosen this up so it goes all the way back
Yep.
to here.
Yep.
Yep.
So
We'll
the-
leave that one. We'll leave that one where it is, but this one we'll have to loosen it up so we gain that much extra. I think that'll be just enough to get those
Yep. I
those
agree,
cups
Lonnie.
back on there.
I agree. Good tech tip. So no need to tighten the far one until you're done. Now this big one, it doesn't matter if you tighten it or not. It's where it's going to sit. You're not
Yep.
going to shove that any further up.
Nope.
All right, that's plenty loose. And it shoves up and it gives us that extra little bit.
Look at that. Just what we need.
All right, you want me to do this quick?
All right.
All right, never done this before.
Do not drop the needles.
No, so you had some more hardware though. There were some thrust washers.
Yes, they're over here.
Okay. What do we got for thrust washers?
We got a couple of waves and a couple of thrust washers.
All right, so this thrust washer, first thing we're going to do is throw that on the first trunnion that we're going to do. Come on, buddy. Get on there. There we go.
All right.
All right. Then, no, there must be some caps for these that came in the kit. Oh, they're on that other end, aren't they?
Yep, they're over here.
All right. All right, we got the first ball on the trunnion. And so the balls have this piece of vinyl hose in them. And we just kind of slid it down and let the trunnion push the hose out. So we're going to try to show that to you again. This is pretty rough on Lonnie's hands, but you want to rotate it so we get the...
Yep.
And then you're going to cock it to capture the other one. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not.
As much as I can.
I'm a little worried about the other one. So, got to do a bunch of grease in there because you don't want to assemble it dry. Now, this is definitely a two-person job. So now you can see the needles. The needles want to escape, and that is an issue. So what we're doing is we're walking the needles down one at a time so we don't lose them. Now you could probably just slide this down and individually pack the needles, and I imagine that would work. But this is what we're doing now. And when you got it centered right, they go down real good. And there we go. You can see the hose came right off the end, and then I need that other new cap.
Yeah, it's right here beside my elbow.
Beside your elbow, this is
Yep.
it.
Yep.
All right. More grease. Can't do that. Can't do enough grease. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Ready?
That's it. And so Lonnie kept his fingers on the other one and kept it from coming apart. But the cap rotated a little, I think.
Yep, it did. All right, you ready? Can you straighten it?
Yep, right there. Didn't
Okay,
take
ready?
much. Yep.
All right, there she goes.
There we go. I'm going to let the boot just drive it out.
There we go.
All right.
Woo!
That's the worst of it. It's essentially rebuilt. We just got to pack it up with wheel bearing grease and put the end cap on. How much wheel bearing grease? About that much. That ought to do it. All right. So okay, let's rotate her over. All right, people. Who caught it? Who caught what we
did.
missed?
You
No,
did.
I'm saying who caught it on video.
Oh,
We missed something, and that's why this
Oh.
is coming apart again. And did you catch what we missed on the video? I'll give you a clue. We got it in the car, and there was too much play in the trunnion. Have you figured it out yet? All right. We're going to get the pieces we forgot, just to show you. Here's what we forgot. A thrust washer and these two spring washers. You kind of need those. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge.
Yep.
We're going to try to get the one hose back in.
Can you see which
Well,
one?
have you loosened up this clamp yet? Let's
No.
start by loosening the clamp.
Yep.
No, I won't be able to see which one until we push that back a ways.
All right.
It's all just buried in grease. Well, we knew that was going to happen.
All right.
All right, hang on. I got one more needle I got to grab, but this is fine. We can deal. So here's how you deal with this. First thing we're going to do is get this end piece out of there. We're fine. And then we're going to put this piece of hose back in, just like they shipped.
Yep.
And then we're just going to pack needles around that hose until it's full of needles.
Sorry about that.
You can let go, Lonnie. You don't need to hold that while I pack the needles
I
in.
can't. Nope, I can't because it's the other end popped out.
Oh,
I'm
great.
trying to keep. Ow! Ow! That would be my finger.
All right, we got needles all the way around. We're fully packed. All
Okay.
right, now here's the thrust washer.
Yep.
All right, we're ready for that. Yep.
Let me see if I can. Nope. God, I just don't have any leverage here right now.
Well, that and it's super flippin' greasy.
Ah, there we go.
All right, that bottom one popped, but
Yeah, I
as
know,
long
but
as
I've got the cap is on the table,
All right,
so let's work one side at a time. Whoop! Don't push all the needles out.
there they go. They're just sliding in.
Yep, you got plenty of grease now.
All right, everything's happy now. Now we got this trunnion cap with this
And-
thrust washer,
Yep. Okay.
and then we got to rotate to the other side and do the same, not thrust washer, same spring end.
Yep.
That on there, and it's in. It's
We
in.
lined up.
Yep. Except for you got to twist. You got to twist that. We're twisted. Let's see what's happened. We got to. We're not.
There we go.
There you go. All right, that
Should
should.
have a little more positive pressure on there going in. Now with those.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There we go.
Run it around.
Yep.
seems too tight. Well, my camera's plenty greasy. We got this back to moving free but no play. So these two Belleville springs, spring washers, came in the kit, and they are too thick and too strong, and so this was just bound up. It wouldn't even plunge. But we went back and took the springs out of the old setup, or maybe they were just shims. They were much lighter and thinner anyways, and we're happy with this. There's no play, but it moves, and it can do what it's supposed to do now. It can do its spherical thing.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I like that.
we're good with that.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna go stick it in the car again because that's always fun.
Yeah.
We got it, but it was a struggle to the bitter end. Lonnie, why don't you grab the drive shaft? So the trunion's positioned up and down, so if it was going to have any play, it would. It doesn't, so it's absolutely perfect there.
Yeah, it's tight as hell.
We're happy we got that, but that wasn't the only problem at the end. This plate that came in the kit, it's not centered right, and it's too thick, both. So that plate goes in a recess in the drum, and it was off center. And the only way it would ever get in the recess would be if we cut it off with a tin snips or sheared it or something. So what we ended up doing was getting the old plate. So we got two parts from the old kit. We got the old plate, and then those two spring washers. So in retrospect, Lonnie, if we could have just got a boot kit with bands, it would have probably been better. And it was my idea to get the full rebuild kit. So
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, we learned a lot. And now we know that we have brand new needle bearings and caps on there. So I feel better about that. I feel good that we've got good caps on there, and the needle bearings, we've got lots of good brand new grease, and so
yeah, we know there's no dirt in there from when it was run before. It's all clean.
yeah, it's all clean. That boot hadn't been sheared for that long because there was no dirt in there at all.
There was no grit.
Yeah, so it hadn't
It had just met its time.
yeah, it hadn't split very long ago.
All right, so the new boot looks real good too.
Yep, we're gonna need to tighten up
We got to tighten up that back clamp.
that back clamp again. Yep.
But otherwise, that's it. So big thanks to the patrons of the channel. This is second channel stuff, but we still love the patrons from Nutter Speed Shop. And I don't know. I guess we'll see you at the car shows.
See you at the car shows. Sounds good. No clunking, no rattling.
Switch from reverse to drive.
Yep.
That's pretty quiet. All right, for those that haven't seen this car before, I'll give you a little background. So this is Lonnie's 1960 Chrysler Saratoga. It's got a 383 RB block. That's right. They made tall deck 383 big block Mopars. Same deck height as a 413 or a 440. Just for these Saratogas, I think. Right, Lonnie?
What's that?
The 383 RB was just a Saratoga thing?
Correct, and only 1 year.
Could you get it in a Windsor?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not strictly Saratoga.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. But it was only 1960. It was
Okay.
the only year they did that.
So this car, when I first encountered it, I was buying a 1968 Fury from Brad's dad. And this was sitting in the pole barn. And I couldn't afford it at the time. But, obviously a four-door green Fury is a bit cheaper than something like this. So I ended up buying that. But then a few years later, Brad's dad hired me to resurrect it because she'd been in the barn forever. I went through, I demoused it, figured out how to adjust the seat so someone over 5 foot tall could drive it. Got tires on it, did all the service, got the charging system working, sort of got the fuel gauge working, probably a lot more stuff I'm not remembering, and drove it for a half a summer, gave it back to Brad. Brad drove it for another summer, and then Brad's dad was selling his house, needed to clear out the pole barn, and Lonnie decided to pick it up.
Yeah. First time I saw it, I fell in love with it.
Yeah, so this has been Lonnie's car ever since. And yeah, it's pink, but it's a big block. And we want to show you a couple things about this car that are cool. So those are the service reminders. And when Lonnie got this car, you can kind of trace the history in those service reminders. When Lonnie got it, it had less than 17,000 original miles on it.
Yep.
This thing sat a long time. There's no rust on it to speak of. It's from Pennsylvania. There's a dubious story behind it. I'm not sure I believe. Brad's dad claims that he was told it was a moonshine running car.
Yeah. Whiskey runner.
I'm not sure. But the car is super cool. And you can see it's got the, what do they call that? The Astrodome?
The Astrodome, yep.
The Astrodome. It's got the cool clear steering wheel. The AM radio still works in this thing. The tube AM radio. So
Yeah, it's got the torque flight push button transmission.
Yep, there's the transmission.
The turn
and
signal right below it.
this is the turn signal. So pretty wild. So super cool car. It's been really good for Lonnie.
Yeah.
I guess
Up until now.
Well-
but that boot wasn't that big a deal.
I guess after what 64 years, the rubber on the boot dry rotted. It's time to go.
Yep.
But otherwise, the car's in really nice shape. Starts and runs great. Lonnie drives it all over, and it's a cool car.
Yeah. It's very cool.
All right, we just wanted to show you the car we're working on tonight.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
All right, Lonnie, how is it?
Oh, fantastic.
No shake, no vibration?
No shake, no vibration, nothing untoward. I took it up to indicated, plus the speed limit. But nothing. Yeah.
Perfect.
Ran great.
Awesome.
Super excited, man.